right, welcome to another episode of your podcast. I am more than the immigrant you had in mind. As you know, this is a platform on which stories of immigrant and refugees communities will be told on a regular basis. In the studio today, we have Célestin Shema. Just right from the onset, you were telling us that Célestin or Shema means
the one I'm proud of.
The one I'm proud of.
Yes.
Okay, that's a beautiful name. That's a beautiful name. I mean, could you just, introduce yourself and start by the story of this name? Because I'm really curious about, I love names and I love names with meaning. So can you just give us a little bit of background story about the name?
I was born in DRC, as I told you.
Okay.
And it was from my grandfather who fled in 1959 from Rwanda to DRC.
Okay.
You know, there have been a lot of conflict in Rwanda. Starting from 1959, where there is this kind of conflict between Hutu and Tutsis. And my grandfather was forced to flee to Congo. And then they had a very hard life in Congo from the beginning. So, because he was a veterinarian, you know, a doctor for animals, you know.
Yeah.
So, and he just found himself in a very low standard life that he was supposed to cultivate for someone to give him food. At that time, we had no UNHCR. So no UNHCR, we just bring you to the camp, we give you food. They had this hard life. So, and my father decided that, because he was among the elders, decided he will not go to school. And then he will take care of the young siblings. So, and when I was born as the firstborn of my family, my father's, and my grandfather was happy about my father. They said, I'm going to name your son. So you are the one I'm proud of.
Oh, nice.
Yes.
Beautiful story. Oh, that's awesome. So, and this is a common name in Rwanda, in Rwandan culture? I mean,
Yeah. Everyone, you found, actually, that during that time, not many people were called those names. That this time they are starting to see their good names. You find these names in kids. So, and all the time, how come you have this name? You know, it's for kids.
Yeah. No, I love it. And I also, like I said, I love the meanings in names. And I think that, you know, naming a child, with giving a special meaning to a child, it's also kind of like a reminder to that person throughout their life, because they carry their names throughout their life. So it's almost like as you walk through life, sometimes you might have challenges, but your name kind of like makes you remember your identity and pass through life. Those challenges sometimes, you know, in a better place, right?
Yeah.
So let's continue in this conversation and talk to us also about. So obviously you moved from Rwanda to Canada.
Yeah.
So when was that again, roughly? So you said 2 years ago, 3 years ago?
2 years.
2 years ago.
2 years ago.
Okay. Could you just talk to us a little bit about the reasons why you moved from Rwanda to Canada?
Yeah, there is this kind of conflict in the region all the time.
Okay.
You know, so Rwandans have found themselves in different countries in the region. So during the 1996 first war in DRC, there was communities in DRC north part that was forced to flee to Rwanda, from Congo to Rwanda. But there are also others who were forced to flee not at their intention, fleeing after genocide, because most of the route were taken to Goma, as you know. So those refugees, they have been in Rwanda since 1996.
Okay.
So I was working with one organization in my country. So it was working with refugees.
Okay.
So I was asked to currently, since 2021, has been another conflict again. Now these are the refugees who are claiming their right as a Congolese to go back in Congo.
Okay.
So there is this mobilization of so young person to go to fight.
Like the child soldiers.
Yeah. So they might not be even child, but 17 in our countries, they are not child. They are not child, but they are not matured a lot. So 21, but they have their aspiration. They want to study. They want to do whatever. So they don't want to go and fight. So because in 2013, if you remember well, I don't know if you know the region well, there have been a defeat of this called M23.
Okay.
These are rebels that are fighting in Congo currently. This is a...
I wasn't aware of this.
Yes.
Okay.
So, and they are working side by side with some Rwandan soldiers.
Okay.
So, and they appealed to me. So, we are not going to go into these refugees. And we are asking you to go, since you have an influence on refugees, you work with them all the day. You should go and tell them that they have to fight back and go fight for their country.
Okay.
And you have to show them that, see, you have been here all these years, more than 2 decades. So you don't have the rights, and yet you have your country. You used to live well. So you have to tell them that they have to give their best to regain their land. So knowing that, because I told you I was born in Congo also.
Okay.
Knowing that at my 15 years of age, it was by then 1993, 1994.
Okay.
So that's when we had a genocide in Rwanda.
Yeah.
So at that time there was this recruitment all the time. This recruitment that you have to go and fight for your country again. My grandmother fought for me, and she didn't want me to go, and she just protected me. And then I was reflecting back to those stories. So now, what was in the mind of my grandmother protecting erupted in me again. So I have to fight for these young people, because their intention is not going to fight. Their intention is to go to school, having a normal life. They have been in refugee camp. They envy Rwandan young people who have all the opportunities, go to school, get normal life.
Yes.
So that's what they wanted. You could read even them that in their mind, in their faces. I could talk to them, and most of them were saying that if you get this opportunity of being resettled in countries like US, Canada, Europe, maybe you will get rid of this kind of stuff that always pop out with the, So those people who are already there, they don't have these kind of issues. So, and for me, I had to stand on these young people side, and then I refused. So refusing that, you create your problem with recruiters. And then I was forced to flee because I got my visa. But I didn't know that it was such a severe decision that I've been, hard decision that I've taken, coming here without my family. I would be hard, So, but it was again out of the intention and the agreement with my wife. I'm lucky enough, so that I have to get rid of that kind of involvement, and that's how I came.
Okay. Yeah. Wow. Okay. And so presumably your family is going to, you probably are doing everything that is necessary now to kind of bring your family here with you within a reasonable kind of amount of time, right?
Yeah, it all depends on the immigration,
Okay.
Because the setting the date on for hearing, it depends on the discretion of
the immigration.
You don't know when. So, but supposedly they have a backload, because I understand they do have a lot of work, people coming all the time. Canada is a country of immigration.
Yeah. And I also suppose that there's kind of like a tension that you're wrestling with sometimes between leaving those young people behind and having to you have to struggle, and you have to resolve that tension between leaving to come to Canada. Coming to Canada because obviously of your safety, but also at the same time leaving those young people behind, right?
This is really a paradox, because Rwanda is a safe country generally. And it is doing well, developing, But when you see you were yourself, you ask, why does this happen to me? Finding myself in this situation, because the rest of the country is going well. You can't even notice something wrong. So, and I was sometimes maybe there is something that is not noticed by anyone. So, and I'm not going to say that it's no. You have these individuals who are, how will I describe it? Who are just with costumes, but you have a knife inside. You have this posture that is really good, but they will just, when they come up to you,
wolves in sheep clothes,
it's gonna be hard. Sometimes that's it. That's how it happens. You just feel sad when you see the rest of your friends been there, no problem, but you had to take that decision again. And then you imagine again, if I have accepted again and go with that, so what will happen again? Will be betraying my own conscience, consciousness on that. I will be betrayed. How about maybe the next generation will be my two sons, will be sent to fight. If I do that, the next generation will be with people who will stand, and the next people will be recruited will be my sons. On that. So you see, this is an intergenerational conflict coming from one. I told you about my grandfather. So I'm talking about the 50s, myself. Now I am involved into that. Potentially my kids will come also. His turn will come. So which means after some years you can count conflict coming from one generation to another. Yes.
Wow. Yeah, I want to talk about your reception in Canada when you came. How were you received by the population here, the Canadian population?
It was very welcoming. very welcoming, and very welcoming because I wouldn't expect more than what I was given, because first of all, you come for me. Myself, I came through Roxham Road, in Montreal.
Okay.
So you have no idea of where you're going, and
why did you choose BC and Duncan from Montreal? Was it a particular reason?
I got a job, but also I liked climate.
Okay. Yeah,
the
sense.
Climate, because I'm not used to cold and freezing, It was very hard for me to cope with. Since I arrived here, I've been breathing, at my core. So it means something a lot to me, coming here in this kind of paradisiac, climate is really good. Yeah.
No, that makes sense.
So for me, I would say that we were brought to hotel. We've been hosted for nearly 1 month, and then we got our own way to look for a house.
Okay.
So and then after that, we got our document, work permit, and we were able to go and search for small jobs. And the assistance that was really at one step to the other was really good. It was really good. I worked myself in humanitarian with the refugees.
Absolutely, yeah.
But that kind of a higher level. Was a higher level. Okay. I don't know any other thing, but I think it is the best.
Okay.
Yes.
Did you encounter any challenges at all, or as you arrived in Canada, were there any challenges in your integration?
Yeah, challenges will always be there. Will always be there, but it all comes with this notion that you are fearing the unknown. The unknown. If you had some information well captured, you would have navigated well.
Absolutely.
This kind of fearing the unknown, this kind of trying to dig deep on what they think about you, So embracing my status was not also something very easy.
Okay.
Your
status as a refugee?
As a refugee.
Okay.
As a refugee.
Okay.
It was...
in what way?
It was. I will meet with some Rwandans who have permanent residence, who came as professionals, and you would see something. All the doors are are open for them, so they can apply wherever they want. They can access many things that you cannot. And then if you see them, more or less you can have the same qualification or even above. Yes. So the difference just being on the papers that they gave you that. So that also blow your mind, knowing that I'm coming from the place where I had the same kind of stuff, and then I'm now here. For instance, I'm going to the factory. I don't know what is in the factory. So it's not like being lazy. You understand what I mean? It's something that you think that you will be better, and then versus something that you have never experienced.
Okay. And I want to talk about Rwanda itself, because obviously it is a country that is charged with history, and obviously the history of the genocide, and as you say, conflicts, intergenerational conflict.
Yeah.
So where is, and also there aren't a lot of Rwandans actually. I mean, is there a big community of Rwandans here in BC or in Canada in general?
Canada, there are a lot.
Okay.
A lot.
Because the impression that we get is that Rwanda is a country which is rebuilding and in construction, where which is quite in a good standing at the moment. That's the impression that we get from the outside, right? And we don't typically see a lot of Rwandans, coming out of the country or migrating. So I just wanted you to kind of like give us a little bit of background story about Rwanda and let's take us to Rwanda for a second and talk to us about that land that which is your land, right? Which is the land where you come from. That and from hearing you, it's actually, we see, like I said, that there is a wrestling, right? A tug of war inside of you, and that leaving that land was not obvious and was not easy for you, right? Especially as you left your family. So can you just take us to Rwanda a little bit and talk to us about what Rwanda means for you? And
Rwanda means a lot to me, and I cannot talk Rwanda because I was born in Congo.
Okay.
If you have listened me well.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So at 15, that's when I moved, 15, 16, that I was a teenager. So Rwanda, from my grandfather, I will explain that from the perspective of my family and how I grew up seeing, being Rwandan. I was taught to speak Kinyarwanda from my young age in Congo.
Okay.
You understand what I mean? Rwandans have strong culture. Wherever they are.
Very proud about it.
Yes, and they are proud about their culture. And I'm not mentioning this kind of division of Hutu, Tutsi, Twa, which narrative that I have never accepted, because this is a narrative that is based on a very slight difference. That's, if you come like in a country like Canada, you will see people having very big difference, and then they live side by side. That's one I don't buy with it. I don't go with it, because my family was said to be Tutsi, fleeing to Congo in 1959. So Rwandans fought to come back. These Tutsi fought to come back, and they came back. The moment they arrived, a big number of Hutu went back. They went out, and they went to Congo.
Okay.
So, and when they found some Rwandans, Tutsi again, living in Congo for some
years and
years, they started fighting there. And Congolese also were victim into that. So now, if you tell me internally in Rwanda, because there is this Rwanda that we know with the boundaries, but there is also Rwanda with other communities living in other side of Rwanda in different countries. There are Rwandans community you find in Uganda, you find in Congo, you find in Burundi, you find in Tanzania. So, vice versa, those communities are living together.
Okay.
So, talking about Rwanda as a country, the country, with the capital city, Kigali.
Yeah.
So, now Kagame comes, the Arab youth, they tried to install this reconciliation. I tell you, this is one of the experience that I saw with my eyes, working on high level. Now, Hutu and Tutsi living side by side, knowing that this is the family that killed your own, and you don't have right to touch on him. That's a high level of rigor. That's a high level of rigor. And I myself participated in those programs. So, which means on that, there was a lot of done into that. At least living side by side, not killing each other. I don't say the rest of what you think, what you plan to do. That also is subjective. Talking about development, Rwanda has been very strategic in identifying what could work better for itself. So, and there are so many programs, economic, that involving education for all, involving this tourism boosts. You see all these brands around, visit Rwanda, all those kind of stuff. They see rebuilding of infrastructure and social construct that I was telling you. Gender parity being tackled, talking about decentralization, which entails about serving the community, serving the people, enhancing this agriculture stuff, all those kind of stuff. So there have been a lot of effort. But as I told you, there is this difference of ethnic difference that is becoming a thorn to everybody. There is this memory of genocide that is becoming a repeated, stuff that, is claiming for bloodshed.
So let me ask you this.
Yes.
Because we're talking about ethnic difference, we're talking about reconstruction, and we're talking about because to me it seems like, because you also say that the truth and reconciliation has somewhat been working, but to me it seems like when there is a kind of like traumatic, when societies are dealing with some traumas from the past, there has to be an element of I want to say forgiveness, but there has to be a higher element of acknowledgement of the past in order to go forward.
Yeah.
So what are your thoughts on that? I mean, has there been enough of that acknowledgement of the past and kind of like hurt that has been done for people to kind of like come to a point where they're able to move past that? Or do you need they still need some time to work on this kind of forgiveness piece and looking at each other and saying, okay, this has happened, we recognize that this has happened. Let's say, I don't even know if I want to say the perpetrators or because you also something you're not gonna necessarily blame the descendants of the perpetrators, because let's say a generation has done some harm to some of the people. The descendants of those who have done the harm are not directly responsible, but they have to somehow acknowledge what has happened in the history, so that we can move on. People can move on together. So I mean, can you just give us your thoughts on the process that needs
the process
to happen?
was if you remember well, I don't know if you have followed.
Yes.
So after the genocide, there is 1994.
Yes.
There have been this anger, despair from the Tutsi side, mainly those who lost theirs. And every Tutsi had in mind of revenge. In mind, what can I do? The first reaction to revenge. But this was not materialized, because there was this kind of intonation that RPF has given to the whole community, that no one should revenge. And we know some stories, but that was told by some soldiers, saying that those even who tried to revenge, they were killed also. That was the punishment to those who revenged. But again, that was 1994, where wounds are fresh. Now come in 2000, now 5 years back, after. Now they introduced what they called traditional codes.
Okay.
These were because this genocide, these crimes were perpetrated by a very large number of people. So, which means it was something that was decentralized. Think about, I am sleeping here. I have my neighbors, and these neighbors organize themselves to come and kill me. Where can you flee? If it is a scale of the whole country, where can you flee? Which means it's something that was done at the community level. Now, they adopted this traditional way of solving issues. That was back then. They called gachacha. Gachacha is the traditional codes, which means a grass. Because those days they didn't have chairs. They could sit on the grass and then they discuss. And they used to look for very nice place, grass, Rwanda is green. And they see, they sit. And then they discuss on their issues. They have now some resolution. And then they adopt this method of bringing people at the community level, and then they charge them with some crimes. And at that time, remember, unlike some people who were killed for those crimes, there are like 7 people were killed for organizing a genocide. But others, there were no death punishment. So which means they were like at the community level, choose and they put in category that these people, we have a category of planners. We have a category of those who were stealing stuff and demolishing houses. But we have also the categories who were killed but out of order. So all those people, they were just categorized in too many things and too many classes, and their punishment went on and depending on their categories.
Okay.
So which means in a period of 10 years, we had thousands of cases that were resolved. Which means something very good, And talking about, coming back to your reconciliation said, acknowledgement. Who acknowledge? Who will acknowledge? Who represent the people who will acknowledge? Because the crime has been perpetrated by the government, which means it's the government that organized this. Now, irrespective of who is in power, once is acknowledged that this happened, then it happened. So that's why I think those efforts were able to be, done in one way or the other. So, but again, the side of perpetrators, there are many who claims to be even innocent, who claim not even to do what they perpetrated is not a genocide. What they did, they go at the level where they say that no, the people who stopped the genocide now are the ones who perpetrated it, So, and that's how it comes, this notion of revising stuff, since they followed us in DRC, trying to bring us back. Now they are the ones who are organized, they don't love us, all those kind of things. So you have to know that these perpetrators, they killed people. Rwanda lost people, but they have this notion of loss. They lost power. They lost power to continue what they have to do, or to just reign, because they had a plan. They had a plan of saying that after killing of these people, now we'll be all well off. So, and that plan was not, reached. It was not. They didn't reach to that point, which means they are still feeling that they are on losing side. What do you do? What you lose something, you try to regain it. So any methods, I don't know what they can use, what excuse they can use, but again, saying that we just charge any government who will say that we will charge the children of perpetrators the crimes of their fathers, I don't think is a good idea. Also, it's not a good idea. But now in Rwanda, I think I've never seen someone being charged onto that. No, they have other issues, but that one I didn't see. Yes, yeah.
No, it's it's fascinating, and the reason why I was asking, because obviously we are in Canada, and also there's this reconciliation that needs to happen with the indigenous communities here.
Yeah.
And so it's almost like, when you go through and you kind of like look at the world, right? There's a lot of reconciliation that needs to happen between communities, right?
Yeah.
Between people who are different, and we also want to try to look at those communities or those societies that have found a sort of blueprint to reconciliation, because this is really an important notion of societies moving forward, right? How do we reconcile? How do we move together as one people, right? Especially when there's been so much hurt happening and so much, grief and hatred, and so.
Yeah, one thing that maybe because I worked on this this kind of gachacha and reconciliation.
Yeah.
Gachacha I was because I studied law, and I was one of the observers.
Okay.
And what we were observing is this legal principles of contradiction. Now, looking at the contradiction part, did the perpetrator or the alleged perpetrator did he had the right time to explain himself? Did he had the enough time to collect evidence? Did he have all the people he mentioned that he wants them to stand on his side? Did he get all those people? All those kind of stuff. So And one of the things that was amazed is the case where children will come against their fathers, saying that this was not right, which means reconciliation. When the atmosphere is set that a kid, a son, is coming against his own father on some wrongdoing, and something very, 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 at that time, and it has to be good faith from the panel of judges, to give this notion of how will I say, work as a good referees, considering all those kind of stuff, and that's why sometimes after some years, like since 2003, there have been this kind of grace period that the president could do after sometimes release like 3,000, of those who were charged of genocide. Because now there are other things, because there was some impressive stuff, because on the community we are doing reconciliation, but since we see this reconciliation is working now and people are ready emotionally, are healed, now we can release those people, and they meet with these reconciliation teachings, and then they can come into that. So that was really good. That's really good, and that's how things evolved very fast. So, and after 3 years or 6 years again, others are released. So, and like that, they come again. So, which means the government came to understand that these people were indoctrinated, and these people were divided, is not something that is born out of them. It is something that was indoctrinated by bad politicians. And if you are a good politician at that time, you need to consider that fact. That's what I think.
Yeah, so I hear the word indoctrination. I hear because I want to kind of like park right here for a moment into this issue of reconciliation and get you to give us or your thoughts on really how to reconcile, communities, right? Communities. What's like I said, what's the blueprint? Let's just imagine that we are trying to create a blueprint for reconciliation. So, and so I hear a few words that you are mentioning, and I say it's really a fascinating conversation that we are having right now. So, can you please just give us your thoughts on that? Just that word reconciliation. What does that word mean for you? And then, I'll share my thoughts as well with you. Reconciliation.
Reconciliation is first of all acknowledging that when you don't empathize, you lose power. When you don't put yourself in the place of the perpetrator as a survivor, you will not understand him. Because some of the people, you're talking about reconciliation. I'm not going to the dictionary.
No, absolutely.
So it starts with empathy. How do you have an empathy of someone with whom you're supposed to be angry with? It's an emotion, kind of alienation that I would say that will come fast. Because the main thing is that you will think for years and years you were meant to live together. And how long are you going to carry this? Think about the next generation. So how long are you going to go and carry this kind of grief, this kind of hatred, planning evil? How long will you do that? So like survivors in Rwanda, they had nothing to say because some families were disappeared. If you find that you were like 20 in your large family, because we have extended families. So let's say in my grandfather's house, we had 3 uncles. Those uncles had 3, 6, 7 kids. And now you remain like 3 or 4 among the whole extended family. So at that time, what would you say? That's we are going to be going into business of killing? And killing up to when? So, but again, there are basic rights that needs to be respected for those people to be at that stage. For me, I think there has to be to set an environment of respect, to set an environment of taking care of the survivors, taking medical care, in consideration medical care, like in our countries. So financial assistance to some things. And then that person will feel that the community has felt the same thing that he feels. And then when the community is showing that, then we can talk about the reconciliation. So in most cases, that we still have this conflict of interest laying behind to that, which comes to the level that this needs to be perpetrated because I'm not even living after all this. And the reason why I'm not living is because I lost this and this and this. So I have no choice but fighting. That's it. That's why,
No, what I hear is that there needs to be concrete steps.
Yes.
Not just talk, but just concrete steps to kind of like put the victims or the victim's family in a position where I also heard about this issue of power, the power dynamics, where they feel like they are empowered.
Yes.
Because
it is empowered both by the government and by the community. They feel that the community is not accepting that thing. The community is not buying into that idea. So, and the government also is helping the community to navigate into that in a way that the victim or the survivor will feel it. Yeah, that's it. That's the chemical around that, because otherwise this person will have no basis to genuinely forgive. Yeah.
No, that's beautifully put.
Yes.
Beautifully put. Let's move back to come back to BC.
Yes.
And so you are in BC now. You're in Duncan, and you have a nice job that you like. Right?
Yeah.
Well, tell us about that experience, right? As far as the achievement is concerned, what you have been achieving in BC, can you tell us a little bit about that? Share with us. And also, one question I would like to ask you is, which is kind of like connected to that, which is about the notion of home, because you were in Rwanda for a minute, talking about one home in Rwanda, and now you're coming to BC, your home. So would you feel that you consider Duncan and BC to be your home? And what does home mean to you?
Yeah, I would consider BC, Duncan, the whole BC. I mean, it's really a good experience. And talking about Rwanda, BC, so the world is very, very, very becoming very small because of the technology.
Yeah.
Because now I can speak with my kids, looking at each other.
Yeah, sure.
So the only thing we don't have is a physical touch, whatever. So that's really good, and I can't wait to see them here and be with me. Share life together.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and talking about my work here, and I'll show you that I got one of the best team
Awesome.
I've ever experienced in my life.
That's great to hear.
Because they are really nice, welcoming. Yeah, it's very impressive, And the work ethic here in Canada is in such way that gives room to someone to learn, to deliver at his level possible. You're not a pressure. No one pressures you to do what you are not able to do. So, but again, they are very keen on letting you get informed on certain things, which I like, I came with this mentality, that if I don't perform to this level, I will get fired.
Okay.
I will be declared incapable.
Okay.
So, and that was the mentality of this kind of, I've been dealing with that kind of stuff, work environment. That is that, you have to set target, and this, if you are not reaching this target, but because here they go with what is there, what is the environment, what is what the case, they need to understand what is there, and you judge based on that. So which is really a very super good environment. Yes.
Awesome. Well, as we come kind of like closer to the end of our conversation, I would like you to think about some words of wisdom that you want to leave us with. So we can go back to Rwanda again and look at Rwandan culture and Rwandan wisdom, or anything that you want to leave us with. But before that, there's also something I would like to ask you is about, because you mentioned a lot about family. Obviously, I think well by now it would have been obvious that family is an important value for you, like, right?
Yes.
And also I would suppose in Rwandan culture, family is like a really strong value. So you can start by that, talking to us about the value of family.
Yeah.
What does that mean for you, and then move on to wisdom and leave us with some kind of like wisdom from your culture, from Rwanda, or anything, any kind of word that you want to leave us with.
Yeah, family has been always a central entity to our society. I think the whole world, no one is born out of family, at least, and then family for me, it's the future. Family is the present, and the family is a way of expressing one's everything, one's skills, one compassion, one confidence. You can express everything in the family. So, and when the family is not well organized and the setting is, sick, you will see it will be out of the society too, And I think the conflict we're seeing now is a failure of the small entity called family. So I don't know if now I could say it, I'm really sorry. Everything is said that family is not taken into consideration in some instances, which is a danger to the current community. Talk about those kids I was saying, those young people, they are from family. They are from families who have thought about their young kids. I imagine my son just being taken away, and then one day you don't see him, you feel he's dead somewhere on ABC reasons. So you not only kill the person, you kill the family, you kill the future, you kill everything. Yeah. So, and coming again to the words of wisdom, I don't think the word of wisdom is something, but I was saying that there is a proverb in Kinyarwanda.
Yes, please share. We love the wisdom, we love the proverbs, we love the poetry, we love all of that. Just bring it up.
They say that igiti kigororwa kikiri gito.
Okay.
Which means you can only, how will I say that, fix the tree, because some tree can bend, and then you want it to be straight. You can only fix the tree while it's still small. But when it is already grown up, you cannot. So we have to take care of young kids, young generations, because they are the ones that are going to change everything, to shape ideas that are going to help us, Yeah, that's it.
Oh, that was lovely. Thank you for this gift.
Thank you so much.
Célestin.
Yeah, thank you so much.
All I can say, not much to say, just what I'm gaining from this is that we have to look at the roots, and the work starts at the roots.
Yeah.
If you want to build beautiful trees.
Yeah.
In the words of my man Célestin.
Yeah,
thank you so much. Merci beaucoup.
Je vous en prie, Yannick.
And we are out for today. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Stay tuned for more on this podcast series, produced by the Intercultural Association of Greater Victoria, with funding from the Department of Canadian Heritage.